looking from the outer dimension, physical dimension, you will have a difficult time trying to find the common thread running through this whole thought. Where is the continuity? Je Jugachare Arja. Because the first stanza started with saying Tiratha Nava Jeti Subhava. And the next stanza is starting Je Jugachare Arja. So what's the relationship? Where is it? Well, actually, when you start right from the beginning, you'll see what the contiguous thought process is going on. Because it is a process for the evolution of the soul. So on the journey, you will find that the master, the Brahmgyani, is keeping the balance. It is giving you both sides. It's telling you what is being done, what the pitfalls are, how to move forward, what will be the stumbling block, what stops you, what encourages you. You'll find all of these things are interwoven together. So let's spend a couple of minutes and go back to the journey where we started it from. The journey said, here are few characteristics of the Almighty. Okay. He's the creator, you are the creation. Okay. The objective is to get back to the creator, get back to the source. Well, why bother? What's wrong with just being the creation and the creator? Say, well, there is no problem. If that's what you want, that's okay. But you will find the dichotomy, dual nature of the creation. Creation moves in positive and negative, sukha and dukha, good and bad, right and wrong, black and white, day and night. It moves in between these two dimensions. And what is going to happen that when you are facing the dukkha, the negative, you are going to ask, please get me out. Stop the world, I want to get off from here. This is not nice. I'm hurting, I'm suffering. And you are going to be told, if you want to get off, then remember, you will not only lose the dukkha, you will also have to give up the sukha. You will also have to give up the positive, because they are two sides of the same coin. You cannot just have one. Okay, so you say, I'm fine with it. I want to get off. Okay, so if you decide to get off, then here is the process. Here is the technique. What is the technique? Okay. But remember, who, whom, and then it came and said, Adi Sach, Yoga Adi Sach, Isnu Jap. Okay, why are you giving me this method? Were there methods before? Yes, there were methods, and then we saw it started by saying there are 4 established methods. Soche Sochana Hove, the first stanza. But each one of them had a trap, because it was dealing with the outer, it was not doing anything for the inner. That's why now you are being given a technique which deals with the inner. So, what is the technique? Hukam Arzai Chalana. Well, wait a minute. Is not everything in his will? Yes, it is. But there are certain freedoms given to you, certain choices given to you, and you make the choice. And we discussed that dichotomy. And then, then there came the reminder, who are you worshipping? You are worshipping the one, Jo Tha Pya Na Jaye. Adi Sach, Juga Adi Sach. Pointed out back to it. But you are not doing it. Why are you not doing it? Because you still don't believe. You still are locked in the karma. What karma? Suchita, pavitrata, soche sochana hovai. Pointed out to that and said you still believe in the visiting of the holy places. Tirath Nava, Jetis Pava, Age. You still have not given up on this. But I would suggest to you, do some that Tirath Jetis Bhava. Any action that's not acceptable to him, why bother? And then, okay, you are not convinced and you want to do it all. You still want to stay with it. You still want to stay in the karma field because you have been trained from that since your birth that everything that you're going to attain is going to attain by doing something, by karma, by action. And you're totally convinced. You don't want to get away from it. Okay, let me give you the litmus test. The karma. What karma, what action is the right one? If you don't keep that litmus test in mind and you keep on repeating it, you're going to be wasting a lot of valuable time. Hence, the today's stanza. It starts, Jai Jugacharya Arja. Now, yoga. Let's understand yoga first. What's the yoga? Well, we say there are 4 yugas. Sat Yuga, Treta, Dwapar and Kal Yuga. Okay. Then what's a yuga? Do we know, just as we on the 31st of December at 12:01 we say Happy New Year, right? There is a boundary. We cross a boundary, we say that year has changed. Is there such a boundary when the yuga changes? Can we say Sat Yuga has ended and Dwapar or Treta has started? The reason I am saying that because there is a controversy. Should the Dwapar be this way, or is it Sat Yuga Dwapar Treta, or is it Sat Yuga Treta Dwapar? That discussion, that's a controversy till today in Vedanta, and we will discuss that some time later. Depends on which side you are coming from. Anyway, so the Gurbani says that there is no boundary, but let me tell you what the yuga are. Satyug Rath Santokh ka Dharma Age Rathavaho. He said, what is the Satyuga? He said, in Satyuga, the majority of the people, that means the human consciousness, consists of what? Satyug Rath Santokh ka. Santokh means contentment. Contented. Follow, that's the will. They actually already knew what his will and they were very much happy in the will. Satyug Rath Santokh ka. Very contented. There was never ever even a thought of why is this happening. And Dharma Age Rathavaho. The life was being guided by the Dharma. Now what is the Dharma? See, each word has a connotation in our spirituality. When we were discussing Farid Shalok, he said, Boliye Sach Dharam, Jhoot na boliye. And we discussed at that time, what is a Sach Dharam? Dharam means your own inner essence. The dharma that what we have defined is not dharma. Your own original essence. What does that mean? When I meet you, I have a face which is smiling and I have the words which are giving you the praise. How good you are, how nice you are, how handsome you are, how beautiful you are, how intelligent you are, etc., etc. But is that what I'm really thinking inside? Is that my dharma? What is my inner saying? Now the question is, can I say that? What my inner is saying? Why I can't say that? Gurbani says, Kaljug rath agan ka kood age rathwao. See, in Kali Yuga, every inner being has a very, very soft, burning insides. Heat of what? Vasanama, Kamanama. गालिब कहता है हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश में दम निकले.
बहुत निकले मगर फिर भी कम निकले.
बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले. इतनी डिजायर्स, so many desires, and those desires have a little fire burning, and the human consciousness is convinced. Kaljug rath agan ka kood age rathwao. Kood means the lie, the jhoot, the falsehood. That the consciousness is convinced that if I don't lie, I cannot survive. And there are proofs all around. Can you tell me what you really are thinking of me? No, why hurt somebody? Why? That means that you're really not thinking that good that you can repeat. Right? That's why you don't repeat. That means you're inner. You are not actually spending your life, living your life according to the dharma, your actual essence. Now, why are we not living according to the dharma? When the child is born, child wants to live according to the dharma, and we slap him seriously. Right? Child wants something. You are refusing him. He's getting angry. He wants to laugh at you. Have you seen little kid trying to slap the parent? Right? We fight back, say, "Oh, ऐसे नहीं करते." He wants to express the anger. No, that's not good. Now, did we teach him how to be angry? No, he's born with it. That's his dharma. That's his nature. Now, we don't tell him how to channel it and how to manage it. We just say, don't do that. Right? My favorite example is when the telephone rings. Dad, this is for you. Say, tell Dad is not here. So he repeats. Dad says, I'm not here. Then we slap him. That's not how to give a message. Well, you just said it. So we teach the child to socialize. So what is happening? Everything that the child is born with, every natural instinct, the anger, the greed, the sex, what happens? We turn it into sin. It's no good. What should he do? The nature is telling him. The hormones are running absolutely wild. The child is looking for the mate. And we are telling him, silly slap. So what does he? He becomes a politician. So now he learns to tell social lies. That's not how to manipulate the parents. That's not how to manipulate the society. That's not how to manipulate the friends. The consciousness has become this. In Satya Yuga, the consciousness was Satyug Rath Santoh ka Dharma age rathwao. Now, does it mean Satyuga did not have Kali Yuga people? Yes, there were. In Satyuga, who wanted to kill Dhruv and Prahlad? Right? Own parents. Those who are supposed to take care of them. When Ram was there, in Dwapar, wasn't Ravana there? When Krishna was there in Treta, wasn't Kansa there? Right? So each yuga. So what about today? Aren't there any Satyugi person here? Absolutely there are. So yuga is not a division. Yuga is a quality of the consciousness. As the majority thinking changes, yuga changes. So we are now going through Kali Yuga. Now, if you read some of the scriptures in Hindu philosophy, they have penned a yuga's age at 57,600 years. Now we will have a difficult time because we are saying the history of the earth is only 5,000 years, right? So we will have difficult time in these numbers. So forget about the numbers, don't fall into that trap. Yuga basically means human consciousness evolution and shift in thinking process. So whatever that yuga is, Gurbani says, okay, nobody has a life that is equal to one yuga. But let me tell you, maybe let's assume that you have a life of all the 4 yuga. That's what the first 3 words say. Je yug chare arja. If yuga, cha, 4, arja means life. Even if you have a lifespan of 4 yuga, he said, no, wait, not enough. Hor dusuni hoye. Let's multiply it 10 times. Now look how a word picture is being created. Watch this painting slowly developing. He said, if you insist on doing some karma, and the karma requires the time for you to do, no matter how good a karma that is, or how bad a karma that is. Again, good bad definition we will later on see into this. But Gurbani says, you have been told, you have been advised that there is no other action. Forget about the rituals. But you don't want to get away from the rituals because you are conditioned that way. Okay, if you are conditioned that way and you insist upon it, let me tell you that you keep on repeating a karma for 40 yuga. Hor dusuni hoye. And let me also assume that that karma that you are repeating is so good. Nava khanda vich jaaniye naal chale sab koe. I mean, we don't know our next door neighbor's name. That's how we live, right? He says, imagine everybody knows you, not just where you are. Now Khand Prithvi means the whole world knows your name. And they know that you are such a good person. You are worried about having leadership of a Gurdwara, a temple like this. Imagine everybody is willing to follow you. You are the leader of the whole earth, the whole mankind. Nava khanda vich chaliye jaaniye naal chale sab koi. Everybody is willing to follow you. Your actions are that good. And not enough. Changa nao rakhaye ke jas kirat jagle. So there should be not even a single human alive on this earth who can find some faults with you. Your name is that good in the minds of the consciousness of the people. So this whole earth is your judge, and they are judging you as what? Changa, the best. Changa nao rakhaye ke jas kirat. The kirat means the to praise somebody. Just kirat jagle. Now, so much of good karma accumulated. So let me give you the litmus test. What's going to happen in the ultimate? Say, J. Tes nadar na avai ta vatana pucheke. Whole of the world is accepting you. But if he is not accepting you, This is all useless. Now let's spend a moment here. Why is that? Why the acceptance of the every human on this earth is not good enough? I remember a quotation by Mahatma Gandhi. He says that I am a thief. I'm a scoundrel. Because a politician has to be scoundrel. Because I'm a thief and a scoundrel, I have a very easy time accepting the other thieves and scoundrels of the rest of the world. I can relate with them. I can sympathize with them. If in Kali Yuga, everybody thinks that the lie is what sustains you, so when they see me, are they going to call me bad? Right? On my face, they are not going to call me bad. Changa naam rakhaye ke jas ki to jag le. Since the whole of the consciousness is suffering from the same malady, same sickness. And what is that sickness? Haume rog manak ko dena. Gurbani says, Jo jo dise so so rogi. Rog rahat mera satgur yogi. Jo jo dise. No exception. Everybody has that sickness. What is that sickness? The ego. The I. And this is the most vicious of the malady. It is so gone so deep into the consciousness that we have very difficult time in dealing with it. So because this whole of the karma is being judged by the same kind of consciousness, it's going to be useless. Right? We have talked about that Mother Teresa is now being canonized by the Pope. She is being given the title of a saint. So, would she become a saint because Pope said it? Or is she a saint already anyway? Whether he gives a stamp or not. Being a saint is dependent upon the acknowledgement of the Pope. That's what this world has come down to. Are you good? Well, are you good because I said so? Because I am saying you're that good? Does that make you good? Or are you good because you are good from his, whether I say or not, does it matter? Gurbani says, here is a litmus test for every karma that you want to do. If you don't want to get away from the karma, theory of karma, then here is a test. What? Je tis nadar na aave. Every action, every decision, every thought, every behavior, can you look at it and ask yourself, how is he judging it? Do we do that? What do we do? What would the society say? What would the law say? We worry about two things. Isn't that what the whole of the political environment is? When the Watergate happened, what was that? Well, everybody's a thief, he just got caught. Isn't it? Isn't that what we said? Everybody, in politics, everybody plays these games. Nixon happened to be caught, so they went after him. But if you are not caught, then you are not a thief. Or is it so? Gurbani says, don't look for that confirmation from the outside world. Don't go to a sadhu, a saint, a politician, a guru. Don't go anywhere. Why? Hukum arzai chalana nanak likhya naal. That thing is already inside you. It's given to you. Now, between you and your creator, you cannot have a defense attorney. You cannot have the witnesses. You cannot present your case. Nobody is going to argue your case. Because you are what you are when you are dealing with him directly. That's it. You are the judge. You are the witness. You are the jury. And the funny thing is, you will be the executioner also. This so-called image, when we go there and there's somebody who's going to pull out our accounts and going to tell us what's the debit side and what's the credit side, is just a way to explain. There is nobody sitting on a throne with a book in hand. You would see yourself and you will decide. Because at that time, there will be absolutely no camouflaging. Nanga dozak chalya tan disse khara. And what does it look like in the Dravana? Nange avan, nange jana. Meaning what? Nanga doesn't mean this cloth is not on my body. So the consciousness was completely in its truest possible form, your true dharma. When you came, that's how it was. Then you put the cloud, shroud of what? From the parents, from the society, from the universities, from the books, etc. You put a cloud over it and your own consciousness got totally covered. And you started behaving according to that shroud. Your real image got totally distorted. When you leave, all those things are going to drop. And now you're going to see again in your truest form. And Gurbani says, if you have not applied this test, which is J tes nadaranayavai, since you have not applied this test, at that moment it will be visible to you. Oh, I thought I was doing this karma. I went to the temple so many times, I did havan so many, I did part so many, I did a khan part this and that. All those things I did over there. So what? If you fed somebody over there, somebody fed you. If you helped somebody over there, somebody helped you. So what do you want from here? So what is over there then? Our kartut, sagli jamdane, gobind bhajan bin, tel nahi mane. Everything else is a social drama. Over there, भक्ति की थी है कि नहीं? नाम जपया है कि नहीं? ये जपया तो उसका कोई नाम लाला, नहीं जपया तो वापस चल. That's it. Go back. You will be given another chance. जे तिस नदर ना आवई ता बात ना पूछे के. Not only that. Look how strongly Gurbani is going to hit, constantly hit, hammer on. Say, kita andar keet kar dosi dos dhare. Kita means the smallest possible microbe. He says that microbe who has remembered this principle and have applied it, you would be considered lower than that microbe. Kita andar keet kar. With so much of accomplishment. How much? नवा खन्ना विच जानिए नाल चले सब कोई चंगा नाम रखाए के जस कीरत जग ले. So much of your achievement, and what is the reward? Dosi dos dhare. Dosi means the one who is content. What is the condemnation? What is the rejection? That despite the warning, despite all the teachings, despite all the messages, you stayed stuck on, I am going to do this karma. Why? Because that's what I have learned. Learned from where? From this book, from that teacher, from that university, from that parent. Did it matter? Did you not want to listen to the guru? You wanted to listen to the society? Is that more important to you? If that remained more important, then you are condemned. Doshi dosh hai. And if you get going on that path, now here is after having shown that direction, because now, by now, all of us are feeling rather subdued, aren't we? My God, it's a very difficult thing. What's going on here? गुरु बड़ा डाढ़ा है, ये छड़दा नहीं है, मेरा तो गुजारा हो ही नहीं सकता, मैं तो छोड़ नहीं सकता. Right? Suddenly it becomes so pessimistic. And look how Gurbani picks you up. It lifts you up. So wait. Don't go down the drain now. Just get going. Nanak nirgun gun kare. Question is, you get started. You accept the fact. Okay, whatever time is gone, don't sit and brood over it. Don't now go into the, oh my God, सारी उम्र निकल गई है. Now what? इतने पाप कर लेने, इतना गुनाह कर लेने. I was reading that in the ashram that Rajneesh started, in his meditation technique, he used to call the first 15 minutes is cathartic, meaning thereby you just let yourself go and you do whatever you want. You cry and you laugh and you run around and do crazy things to get the energy, negative energy out of you. And the writer says that the most common statement during that 15 minutes period used to be, "Main papi hai. Main bada papi hai." And people will say, "Main bada papi hai," and they'll keep on crying. Without understanding, without realizing. Why? Because somebody said, "This is pap, this is pun." Never went to the guru and said, "What's pap? What is pun? How do we define it? Which action is pap? What is the sin?" Christianity said we are all born sinners. Okay, end of discussion. ਪੁੱਛਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ. ਪੁੰਨ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਪਾਪ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ sinner ਹੋ ਹੀ. Now this statement has been so misinterpreted and so used well by the preacher, because that creates such a guilt. How do I get rid of the guilt? थोड़ा सा भार हल्का हो गया ना, थोड़ी जेब हल्की होती है, मन हल्का हो जाता है. If we immediately go to the pocket, pull a note and give it to the priest and say, "Would you pray for me?" and say, "Yes, okay, now I'm done." It's not my mind that actually had lightened up, it was my pocket that got lightened up to that. I remain exactly the same. What is the original sin? Why did Christianity, why did Judaism, why did the Ibrahim and the Moses of Ibrahim, from where all the three religions, the largest religions in the world started with Ibrahim? Christianity, Islam and Judaism. So why that story of Adam and Eve actually is a parable, a beautiful parable, but totally got lost. What is the original sin? The Adam is there, the Eve is there, and they are absolutely having fun. Nothing right, nothing wrong. They are playing in the Garden of Eden. And then suddenly, the devil appears. And the devil says, "Thou shalt not No, the order is thou shalt not eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge. And the devil appears and say, you know why you are told? Because if you eat, you will become like a angel yourself. That's why this secret is kept. So go eat it, become an angel. So the story goes that Eve takes the fruit and takes a bite and then gives to Adam to eat. And as soon as they take a bite, what is the first knowledge that they receive? First knowledge is that you are different than I am. Right? So they run and get fig leaves and cover themselves. They turned it into sexuality, that they became aware of their sexuality. No, they didn't become aware of the sexuality. There is no reason, there is no need to become aware of sexuality. That's already in you. Devil is not required to make you aware of your sexuality. Who tells the birds and the bees and the animals and the plants? Forget about the human being. What they became aware of was, you are you and I am I. You are different than I am. That is the first start of the I. The first identification. First ego. We are born sinners. The first sin, the only sin, the original sin, the ego. So don't get trapped into the pap and pun. Gurbani says, Nanak nirgun gun kare. Don't worry about, I had nothing. Nirgun means the one without any quality. Don't dwell on that, I have no quality. Don't dwell on the fact that I have spent more than half of my life. Just get started. And then what will happen? If you get started, nature will come and support you. Nanak nirgun gun kare. If you get started, nature will support you. It will send you the energy. It will create circumstances where you will meet similar people who are also interested like you. You will start collecting the energy around you. You start meeting the people, suddenly those who have never met. And you will start building that momentum. Because it's not just that you are trying to get there, the nature also wants you to come back home. Mere man pardesi aave, aao ghare. As the child goes out to play, mom gives him the breakfast, and then he forgets the lunch. He is so enjoying the game. And the evening comes down and mom goes looking for the child. Would you please come home now? And what does the child say? Mom, this one last game. Hold. I'll come. Hold it. As the darkness comes, the parents go, bring the children back home. Similarly, he also wants the children to come back. Okay, you've seen the outer world now. Come back. That's what Jesus used to say with that parable, that one sheep got lost and he went to go. You heard that parable. That all the sheep came home. He counted, there was one sheep missing. He went looking for that sheep. And somebody asked him, why? Are you not happy with all the sheep that are already there? That one has the initiative. That's more valuable. The one who's following the crowd, they're okay. They'll go as a crowd, they'll come as a crowd, they will always be like that. But the one who has broken away from the crowd, that's the most valuable sheep. I need to go help that sheep. That's what that parable meant. That anybody who gets started on the path, nature rushes to support. Nature rushes to help. The problem is that we never get started. We only talk about it. We discuss it and build theories around it and make associations and organizations and we collect money and build temples. We do everything else except Get started. We surround ourselves with so much of this junk. We are so busy managing the temples and the gurdwaras and the mosques and the churches that the real time for actually sitting down and meditating, just there is no more. And Gurbani says, get started. Nanak nirgun gun kare. You will get the sport. And if you are already on the path, if you are already going there, then what happens? Is there gunvante? He will even more encourage. But remember, this is not going to happen from outside world. It's a journey of the inside. Teha koe na sujai je tis gun koe kare. He said, there is nobody else except him who can make that miracle happen. Don't expect someone else to do it for you. Don't go seek the counsel anywhere else. Look inside you. Seek your own counsel. Ask yourself. As you start asking the tough questions of your own, where you are not making excuses. Excuses are for the other, to justify to the others. But we are so clever, we justify to ourselves also. So that we don't have to do anything. कौन देखता है? कोई नहीं. कल कर लेंगे. किसने देखा आके सब बातें ही हैं. Nobody has come and told here, right? Just theories. क्या करें? घर भी यह चेक करना है, बच्चे भी पालने हैं, सोसाइटी भी है. We have to live. So we create all these type of excuses around. So Gurbani says, seek the counsel, seek the support, because there is nobody else. Teha koe na sujai. Je tis gun koe kare. That particular quality, that particular characteristics, which joins the entity with the ultimate creator, that energy, that encouragement comes from only him. From nowhere else. No other teacher, guru, master, no other saint, sadhu, yogi is going to help you. Because 99.9% of the yogis, sadhus would want you to become their disciple, their followers. They will, this is my mantra. They will never give you his mantra. This is my mantra. So Gurbani says, watch for that. Be alert. Guru Nanak never said, follow me. Guru Nanak never said, this is the only path. Guru Nanak said, get started. It doesn't matter which path. Musalman kahavan muskal hoye te musalman kahave. He says, it's alright. You want to become a Muslim? I'm okay with that. But understand what is the definition of Muslim. Panj namaja, waqt panj panje panjana. He says, you namaz padni hai, panj waqt. Understand what those namaz are. What was the symbol behind it? Jit dwari ubhre tele ubhar. It doesn't matter which direction you come from. He'll accept you everywhere. Why would he accept from every direction? What's the reason for it? And Gurbani gives the example. It says, because in his house, that house, the example is given is that house is like the house of a father who has 5 sons. So he has 5 daughter-in-laws. Now these daughter-in-laws have their parents. They all have learned different things because they were brought up by different parents. A daughter in a parent's home can never be wrong. Whatever she does will always be right. Mother will always say, that's okay. She can get away with anything. Even when she's wrong, mother will say, that's okay. If the son will say, Mom, she is doing this, well, don't worry, but who knows what kind of relationship she's going to have. Let it go. A daughter in parents' house can never be wrong. But when she becomes a daughter-in-law, now that father has to treat all the 5 sons and the 5 daughters equally. So sometime he will say, you are the younger one, would you please be quiet? She is the older one, so she has a right. Or sometime he will say, she's the younger one, you are the older one, let her get away with it. Equal law. Similarly, here we can be brought up as Hindus or Muslims or Sikhs or Christians. This is our parents' home. And we learn different things. Right? Somebody says you only Om is good, somebody says only Satanam is good, somebody says only God is good, somebody says Sohang is good. So that's okay. You learn these things over there. You come over here, there's only one thing is good. I am that I am. Everybody is equal. No matter which direction you come from. You will have to drop those. You cannot over there say, well, no, that's not how we did it. So what? That was your parents' home. That law cannot be applied here. So if you are on that path, come from any place, just get started. Guru Nanak never tells you to follow a specific thing. He says, jump. I don't care how you do it. Just get started. And those who are started, he says, Nanak nirgun gun kare, gunvantya gun de, teha koi na sujai je, tis gun koi kare. He says, there is nobody else who can use that samdarshi, that equal sense with everyone and treat everyone the same way, accept everyone with the same thing and encourage everyone the same way. That source is only that. Everywhere else, it will be my path, his path, different, everything will be different. So, if you are going to get to him, don't fall in the trap of whose path is better. You'll spend the entire life comparing the paths. Don't worry about that. Because all paths will eventually lead there. You will eventually realize that these were just tools. They were just toys to help you get started. Because you could only play with this toy. Eventually you're going to find this a toy. The toy will be dropped. It will become useless. So don't pay attention to the toys. Don't get attached to the toys. So, every karma that you are doing, today's message, the central theme of today's message, if you don't want to get away from this, and you want to do the karma, apply this litmus test. What is that litmus test? Ask that question for every action. Is this going to be acceptable or not? Is this going to be approved there or not? Not in your Gurdwara, not in your temple, not in your church. In his church, in his temple. Don't go ask your Granthi or a Padari, and is this right? Ask, is this right in that code? And if that is okay, you will suddenly realize that the karma that you are doing is actually, has already been told, is not acceptable there. You will find it easy to get away from that. You will break away from it and you will get going on the real path. So may he bless us. May we have the courage and the desire to actually apply that litmus test for every word, for every action, for every gesture, so that the purpose for which this life was given to us, we can actually fulfill that. So with that, I thank you all for coming.